All right, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, you're good. I was letting Steve get settled. Yeah, I was going to throw that part off first. All right, I got 9:30, so I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First thing I have on the agenda is approval of minutes starting October 19th, 2022. Is there any amendments? Hearing none, if there's no objection, those are approved. Next is the approval of minutes from November 14th, 2022. Are there any amendments? Hearing none, if there's no objection, those are approved. Next is the minutes from November 17th, 2022. Are there any amendments? Hearing none.
Item number 6. I'm just curious, it's under Delegate Wayne Clark. Is that supposed to be in conjunction with the city of Charlestown? Or it says injunction.
It should be.
In conjunction.
With that amendment, if there's no objection, those are approved. Next is the minutes for November 22nd, 2022. Are there any amendments?
Yes, I have one. So the very last item under Finance Director, I think it says motion passed 4-1 Commissioner Jackson. I think it should say opposing at the end of that instead of just stuck.
Yeah, and just to clarify that action, yeah. Are there any more amendments? Hearing none, if there's no objection, those are approved. Next is approval of requisitions for December 1st, 2022, amount of $244,809.86. There's no objection, those are approved. Next is approval of accounts payable for November 23rd, 2022, amount of $257,219.75. There's no objection, those are approved. Next is the approval of accounts payable for December 1st, 2022, with an amount of $275,603.93. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is approval of manual checks for November 23rd, 2022, amount of $18,929.23. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is manual checks for December 2nd, 2022, an amount of $471,450. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is approval of payroll for November 17th, 2022, in the amount of $48,857.12. There's no objection, that is approved. Next is approval of payroll for November 25th, 2022, in the amount of $291,646.09. There's no objection, that's approved. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda?
Item number 3, we start with the agenda.
All right. With that, next I have public comment. I'll start from the list and we'll go online. Remember, you have 3 minutes. The first name I have on the list is Mr. Ed Hannon. Not too long.
Yeah, 2. You're welcome. All right, thank you. My name's Ed Hannon, Charlestown. I'm sure you all are very familiar with me. I submitted a agenda request to Commissioner Hudson, and I wish we had time to talk prior to it being denied. As you can see by the handout I gave you, I wanted to have a professional, transparent approach, discussion on an approach to the valuable resources that we have here in the county, where we were, where we are today, and where we're going in the future. As you can see by the handout I gave you, in July of 2017, we had staffing in all 7 stations, and I do not believe there were any unfilled vacancies. My desire was to have a positive interaction with Director Varner. I did reach out to him, and he didn't have any objection to this. We corresponded through email, and I still look forward to the opportunity. I will stick around during his presentation, and if it's appropriate, would like to offer whatever input I can during that discussion. And the two blanks, the current staffing and the March staffing, you'll see are blank. In the past, I have forwarded this type of information from JCSA, and they weren't able to provide it. And hopefully, through our positive interaction, we can see where we are now and where we're going in the future. I really think this is critical because if there are challenges facing the ESA with the implementation of this plan, we need to get ahead of it, recognize it now and get ahead of it for the future. And guys, Clark County just threw you all a curveball. I don't know if you're familiar, they're hiring firefighter EMTs starting at $52,900 with the full benefit package. And I know there are people at the ESA that are looking at that thinking, and they're a smaller organization. They're a bordering county. They have a smaller system, and yet they're able to offer that kind of stuff. And with the uncertainties here, I'm really looking to try and support and see what else this commission can do to support Director Varner and getting this off the ground and running. And if it isn't feasible, pump the brakes and see what is feasible and move forward with it. His proposal is for EMS staffing, and it's fire and EMS staffing. And one of the questions is, what is the staffing model currently and in the future do for fire protection, and specifically the ISO rating? In the past, we were really concerned with the ISO rating. We were pretty close at getting, one of the key elements we're missing to learn the ISO rating is personnel, and I'm hoping we can address that in the future, or you guys can address that in the future. Okay, but I'll stick around and hopefully we can continue to work forward. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Next I have is David Tabb.
Steve Tabb, Jefferson County resident taxpayer. Public comment portion of this is the minutes of November the 17th does not include David Tabb's written public comments as required. It's an agenda pack, but it's not where it's supposed to be. Finance director. Does the Jefferson County have the $58 million that was transferred from FY 2022 to 2023? Or is it just on paper? That's a big question. Jefferson County Development Authority is selling property for less than what's invested. They also have had to pay by court order for the other side's attorney because they failed to give discovery. The Development Authority wants to acquire more property so they can do the same thing all over again. Hardane Industrial Park has a big problem. It's called stormwater. They're not in compliance. Y'all think y'all spent a bunch of money? You haven't seen nothing yet. Jefferson County has lost two businesses in the last several months, Ox Paper Board and the Drive Price. Jefferson County Development Authority will give millions to outside companies, even foreign companies, to do startups and do nothing for the people here that have been paying the taxes and the paper mill for well over 150 years. Those people started us, and you do nothing for them. And I've made that statement before. This is ridiculous. Gig ready, Jefferson County, $500,000. Not ready to send out for proposal. Out of time. Berkeley County, $1 million. They're ready to award the agreement. Where you guys been at? That same amount of time. ARPA, is there any money left? West Virginia Code 7-1-3-U. The Jefferson County Commission will need to address this at some point. JCESA takeover. Is the Jefferson County Commission ready? More important, is the county residents ready for longer response time, higher costs, and more taxes? Jefferson County Government internal unrest. There's going to be a lot more pointing fingers and who did what and when. It's coming. Agenda 6. This request for almost $200,000 for funding of takeover of the ambulance. Agenda 8, Bob Byrne, asking for $12,000 and $35,000 on another issue that has not been set in the agenda pack, at least in the agenda cover sheet. So you don't see it unless you read the over 200 pages. New business on the assessor. At least we have one county elected official that is reading what is supposed to be done, asking for it to be properly done, and you guys aren't. Y'all have a nice day. I still got my job here.
Is there anyone else in the room that'd like to make public comment? With that, public comment is closed. We can move to agenda item number 1. It's Mr. Jeff Blinsky.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Agenda item 1, I have 3 items on this. And the first one is to request appointment, full-time public safety dispatcher trainee. The Emergency Communications Center intends to onboard Dominic Valancourt. You may remember this name. Dominic was with us in the beginning of the year, however, had some unfortunate circumstances and family emergency and resigned to move back to New Hampshire. We have recently learned that he's going to be coming back into the Jefferson County area, once again relocating for permanent, hopefully, and that we intend to bring him on board in January of 2023. Candidates offer salary of $22, $28.22 an hour, and the recent signing bonus of $2,000 that the commission, or I'm sorry, the staff is working out the details of.
I'll move to approve the hire of Dominic Valancourt as a public safety dispatcher trainee at the hourly rate of $24 an hour, which is $46,347 a year, with signing bonus of $2,000 and post-training salary increase once full training is complete.
Second,
Just was the start date Jan 1?
you said Jan,
Clarification on the salary. The salary is $22 and $28.22 an hour.
Okay, 22, yeah, okay. I typically round up after that period, so 22, 28, 22. Yes, sir, that's okay. And then what was the starting date, Jeff?
Starting date is targeted for January 16.
And the starting, I'd like to include that in my motion to have the starting date is January 16th.
and I'm second on that. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion?
I just have a quick question for Jeff. So the post-training salary increase, what would that be after they complete training?
So after they are completely finished with training, we have traditionally provided a 2 to 3% wage increase to them out of training. I would move the individual to the same level as employees that are in the same class.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
My second item is requesting your acknowledgement and approval for reappointment to the E91 Advisory Board. There are 3 individuals that have expired terms in the advisory board. 2 of the 3 are from agencies where only individuals from those agencies are able to serve on the board. Number 1 is the reappointment of Police Chief Christopher Kuchar from the Charlestown Police Department. He will be the representative for municipal police agencies. All of the municipal police agencies acknowledged his continued tenure on the board and requested he represent them. Number 2 is the reappointment of Lieutenant Rob Sell. He's representing the Sheriff's Office. These individuals will serve term of 3 years, ending on September 1st, 2025.
Move to approve the 3-year reappointment of Chief Christopher Kutcher and Lieutenant Rob Sell to the E911 Advisory Board with their term expiring on 9/1/2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the third, Mr. Nissel, I take as present, and as well as Stacy Havermel. Can you confirm that, please?
Yes.
John, do you want to take the lead on this?
Yeah.
Or
You know, I wanted to recognize, thank you, Stacy. I wanted to recognize Stacy Havermel for being recognized as the outstanding member of Jefferson County Emergency Communications. Stacy has served as a public safety dispatcher in Jefferson County since 2006, quite a long time. And was dubbed an influencer and one who loves her job and has dedicated her life to emergency dispatching. You know, we recognize you at the awards banquet, but I wanted to bring you forward in front of the commissioners to recognize you again for all the hard work that you put in the effort. When I talked to the staff and I talked to the director over there, they have nothing but great things to say about you. A lot of accolades come out of their mouths. And I just wanted to bring you forward to recognize that, because I think it's important that people understand you are the unsung heroes in the emergency world.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
job well done, Stacy. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Nissel, and to the commission.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I just want to make a few comments. I don't know Stacy individually, but I know as a dispatcher, you probably lived at the E911 center during certain days. I've seen other storm events with that long a record of service and went through the trials and tribulations of COVID also. So I definitely appreciate it.
It has been very long. All of us have. It's a very trying job.
Yes,
We're there when everybody else gets to go home.
right.
So
Mhm.
we appreciate all the acknowledgements. All of us have. It's a very hard job.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Jeff, thank you for all you do. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Next, I have agenda item number 2, Mr. Tom Hanson, the sheriff.
Morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
We're going to table the first item to a later date. Second item on the agenda is the vacation hours. By West Virginia State Code, each deputy is allowed to accrue 30 days leave a year, not 240 hours, or not 38-hour days. It says 30 days a year. Ransom just went through the same thing. They approved the 300 hours for their law enforcement side because of the time it takes to take leave. And we're now getting to the point where we have to deny leave because of manpower shortages in order for them to, my department to staff my minimum requirements of 3 people per shift. Because of this, it's causing other problems. Now, Ransom also does, if you don't use your leave, they pay for the leave. What I'm asking for right now is for the sheriff's office and possibly for, I don't know, for any other agency, but for sheriff's office to suspend the 240-hour leave policy and go back and to adhere to the state code. It says 30 days.
Is this just for the deputies? No, not.
Just for the deputies.
Just for the deputies, not all
No.
the staff. Okay.
Right. Right now, it's just for the deputies. The problem I'm having is that they're, if you figure that they're getting, some of them getting 2 days a month, right? It's coming down to that they can't use the leave. And I don't want them to lose their leave as of 1 January.
And I'm assuming since Ransom just went to this, they probably, their legal probably explored this. Nathan, do you have any input on this?
I don't have any input right now, no.
Okay.
I can show Nathan the code if he wants to read, but it just states 30 days a year. It doesn't say 30, 38-hour days or 30, 10-hour days. It's just, it's 30 days a year.
Okay.
And I'm asking the county commission to allow them to go up to 300 hours so that my men don't lose their leave. And then eventually I'm going to come in front of you to ask you about paying them if they don't use their leave. But right now I'm asking just to bring it up to the 300 hours.
I'm in favor of this, but I want to find out how we can do that in our system, kind of thing. Like, can we separate them out that way?
Or, and
More
who else
technical
it might apply to
Yeah.
also. We just talked about E911 dispatchers that sometimes work longer than an 8-hour day. I think we've got to approach this cautiously to know the total impact.
And I would be happy to take a further review of it if you wanted to postpone it until the next meeting or something like that. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it. I just would probably want to double check this. And I don't know that you'll find it. I don't know if you'll find it. I would think, again, since Ransom went to it, I'm sure their legal leads probably went through it as well. So I would say we're probably in compliance to do this. Again, we got to be careful because I know if we go with an 8-hour shift, a 12-hour, 10-hour shift, or 12-hour shift, and we have some now 24-hour shifts.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
maybe going into session this year, it might be a good thing to bring up down in session, down in Charleston, to clarify this, and instead of putting a day, put an hour. Because it could be misinterpreted very easily, I think.
Problem is, it's part of the civil service code.
Mhm.
And in order for that to happen, it's going to be opening up a can of worms, so to speak. The legislature the Deputy Sheriff's Association and the legislature really hesitant to start working on Chapter 7 because of it's antiquated. I mean, very antiquated. It was written in 1927, but there are a lot of the Deputy Sheriff's Association is worried about losing possible protections and things like that. But believe me, it's one of the agendas, one of the legislative ideas for the Sheriff's Association. I know. But then if you put it off until the next agenda, you have one more meeting before the end of the year. I'm going to ask that if you want to put that off, maybe that you suspend this. If you don't come to a position to suspend it by the next meeting, so that you give them another 6 months or something like that to try to figure it out. But I just don't want my man to lose their leave, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And if they can't use it, then I'm going to ask the county commission to pay them for it.
So we could, so basically, if your guys at the end of the year now are accruing leave, you could basically, you only have 2 more weeks to burn it.
Right.
Right. And I don't want all your guys burning their leave over the next month.
And that's the problem, you know,
That's the problem.
and yes, and that tends to be the problem is that, you know, with the staffing that I have required it to be minimum staffing,
Yes.
right? It's also causing an overtime problem now because I have to let them use leave in order to not lose their leave. So that means I've got to fill that position by an overtime slot. So this is really causing a real problem as far as my men and women go. And it'd be a shame to them to lose their leave.
This is Commissioner Ath.
Oh, go ahead, Claire. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I was wondering, is there a way to approve it with the asterisk that Nathan looks into it? Because I understand Commissioner Tabb's point that it could be a whole can of worms, but I think if we ever get into this situation where we're denying leave, that I mean, it's something I'm in support of.
So one of the suggestions I may have is we could work with the clerk's office and payroll to see what employees are up against that 300-hour
What's the total impact?
threshold. I think we can probably run a query, right, Clerk Shaden?
I think that, Bessie, you send out emails to everybody when they're getting close. I've been notifying the deputies since August of their hours.
Yeah, so I think maybe we could bring back to you how many folks are kind of in that situation, and I completely agree. I know over in Maryland, a lot of the counties, once you hit that threshold, anything over that goes right to sick leave, and I don't know if the.
No, it can't work that here, wait and say, again, everything in the state of West Virginia runs by Chapter 7. It delineates how many hours of leave they have. It delineates how many hours of sick leave they get or how many days of sick. It doesn't say anything about hours. They get a day. Sick leave is a day and a half for your whole career, a month. Annual leave is a day and a quarter, day and a half, day and 3/4, 2 days. And it continues as long as you stay with the agency. So nothing is in hours in West Virginia State Code as far as the deputies leave.
So we can run that query for you. And then you'll know across the spectrum how many folks are up against that ceiling and who would possibly lose, their annual leave.
In the meantime, could we move a motion forward to extend this for the deputies for 30 days instead of the 31st? Nathan, I don't know, that might give you 2 weeks to
Move the end date.
move the end date till you come back in 2 weeks. We're not putting pressure on you or anything, Nathan.
Let's do it.
You work well under pressure, right? Could we do that?
I would think we could do it as long as we do it for everyone across the board. I mean, or we could just do the sheriff. I think you're at a critical stage right now.
Yes, I am.
So
Yeah.
I would agree that maybe with the sheriff, we could say extended 30 days and then we'll be able to get back to you. And for the rest of the folks, we should be able to run that query pretty quickly, I would think.
And I do like Commissioner Ath's idea, but I would hate to say, okay, for now, we're gonna give you 300. We come back with a legal pending 2 weeks, then we give you something, we take it back away. That'd be good for morale, I don't think.
I mean, I would suggest that you treat all the employees in the county the same if you're going to make any kind of an extension. I believe that most of the county employees were cut back to 30 days. I mean, I know I lost some vacation time myself on July the 1st. So I think most of the county employees were cut back. So I doubt, and I'm just guessing, but I doubt there's a whole slew of other county employees that have this issue right now. But I could be wrong.
I think it's pretty small.
Yeah, and this request on the agenda is just for the deputies, so I think we would be violating open meetings act if we did it for the whole county right now, I think. Right, I don't know.
Isn't the end of the year? So, we still have another meeting, so you could always move to extend it at that meeting.
Sure.
I'll be willing to come back in front of the commission next meeting. I'm gonna probably have some stuff to talk to you about anyway. So if you want to table it till next meeting, I'll agree to that. I really am very concerned about this with my deputies.
I mean, public safety, and to Jane's point, is E911 is also a concern with their manpower. So I agree with you and I support this. If we're going to proceed for particularly E911 and the sheriff's office, I'd also like to see some type of draft policy around how we're handling their leave and their time differently.
And when they're getting up into the time that they're in departments and they're getting 2 days a month, right? 24 days a year, right? Huh?
It accrues quickly.
Right, it accrues very quickly. Anyway, if you would like me to come back again in 2 weeks, but I'm very adamant about this.
Sure. What's the commissioner's thoughts on extending, so there's not a mad rush between now and the end of the year for the sheriff. We extend the ending date, just a temporary ending date until January 31st, January 30th, I mean.
That's fine with me, but I kind of think we'd have to do it for everybody because I think we just put the deputies on our leave, if I'm not mistaken, like a year or two ago. We did something with their leave.
Okay.
But I think we'd have to do it for everybody, which I'm not against that either.
I just think we table this until next
Okay,
week.
all
right.
Yes, all the-
And then you can make a decision next week. But
I'm just trying to think something so you don't have to like rush here next week.
I think you have to also consider the other county employees, as
Okay.
well. We have to try to be equitable and treat everybody the same. Although I recognize that the sheriff runs under a little bit of a different system because of the civil service system.
Yeah, we're trying to treat everyone equally with two different
Yeah.
Two different systems, yes, ma'am.
systems, yeah.
Right, we'll bring it. How about this? I'll move a motion to have our legal department research this and come back at our next meeting to have some resolution. So we'll give you some direction, Nathan. No pressure, just
one of the
2 weeks.
Piece of cake.
other things is, every police agency is scrambling for people now. And for an agency in my county to have better benefits than the county sheriff's office, kind of sometimes makes it a little tough.
Sure.
Um,
Right now.
Now, your motion is just for legal advice.
To have on the record, have legal advice within 2 weeks so we can make a more informed decision.
May I offer an amendment to include a financial impact analysis
And to add a financial impact analysis as well too.
for if all employees were?
Yes, ma'am.
And I have to say that has to come from different sources.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Lawyers are people. that
You're
we've been
doing
doctors,
legal,
but we couldn't do
the
that.
other stuff is doing the financials. So I'll second the motion, as messy as it was in formation.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
I do have one question, now that I was thinking. So, is it fiscal or is it calendar year that leave is lost?
December 31st.
Calendar year, I believe.
It's calendar year.
Deputies are calendar, all other employees are fiscal.
Fiscal.
Oh, okay.
This only affects our deputies.
So E911 would be.
Yeah.
short-term.
Right.
Yeah.
Would have to go.
Uh,
So we have a little bit of time
For everybody else.
for everybody except for you.
Right.
All right, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second item on the agenda for me is when the auditors came here, I was having a fight with the former finance director about our travel and our training budgets. And I asked Mr. Wainwright, especially about this, I said, we have a policy, I should say, we have a precedent that when a deputy goes away for training, everything, including his hotel bill and travel, is put under the training budget. When somebody goes, if I send him to Prince George's County for a funeral of the sheriff and he spends the night, everything there is under travel because it's not training involved. Mr. Wainwright said, what does your policy say? And I said, we don't have policy for that, but we have precedent. This is the way we've done it since I've been here in 1995. And he said, okay, then that would be good enough. But immediately after I left the meeting, I went back and wrote a policy regarding that. Your former finance director created a new line item, emptied both of my travel and my training budget and put it into a line item called travel and training. And it's causing my travel and my training budget to be overdrawn. I'm asking that the county commission have the finance director, whoever's doing it now, do away with that line item that she shouldn't have been able to create anyway, because once you all approve the budget, it's done. And she created, so I have now have a travel line item, a travel and training line item, and a training line item. And she's emptied those two accounts into my her created travel and training budget. And I'm asking that the commission direct somebody to do away with that line item, put the money back to where it was.
So you have 3 accounts essentially right now.
Right,
And 2 are empty.
right, pretty much,
So
yes.
you're asking to split those accounts.
Right, I'm asking to put it back the way it was and the way we applied for it when we applied for the budget when you approved the budget
23.
for 2023.
Well, that would segregate truly travel from truly training.
Yeah. And listen, and I asked him specifically about that. And he sat right here and I sat right there and he said, what does your policy say? I said, I don't have policy, but I have precedent. That's the way we've done it since I've been here in 95. And he said, well, that's good enough. But like I said, immediately I left here and went back to my office and wrote a policy for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office regarding travel and training. And regardless of that, the former finance director created a travel and training line item because she didn't like the way I did it.
But I think the answer is to bring us a budget revision, but I'm not sure who would do that right now. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, we have no objection to it.
Okay. You know,
I don't think it would be, I don't think it needs to come back to you. We can just make the adjustment.
put the money back where it's supposed to be. That's all I'm asking you to do.
That's, we can do that.
Okay,
This is an
thank you.
internal one. We already allocated funds, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an internal budget.
I mean,
What's the
apparently-
internal budget? That's what.
apparently it was allocated with the two items anyway, according to what the sheriff said. So
Yeah.
you're just putting it back to where you all
It was-
approved it.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. They put it back where it's supposed to be.
But I was thinking more of like the ledger, how we track where the money's going, who would do that, is where I was.
It's more just, when my administrative staff goes, okay, this is travel and training, they put it under the training budget. All of a sudden now, my training and my travel budgets are both overdrawn, but the travel and training budget is good to go.
Yeah, we can do that as long as it's a, whenever we need to do a budget transfer, it just needs to be done per state code.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Do we need a motion to move it?
Don't think you need a motion.
I don't think so either, because it was approved in the 2023 budget, and it should be.
Right.
Right, so, right?
Yes, I agree. I just,
That's
and, I'm just asking whatever line item is, it's wiped off
When
because
you package up, we'll wipe it off. When you package up your new budget, just do it.
That's- that's fine. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
You too. Next, I have agenda item number 4, Laura Cook.
Good morning. I have Tom Riley with me. Him and Russell Burgess have been working with me to come up with a solution for our fax server. So I'm here to request approval of a new fax server to replace our current server that is now end of life. We initially installed the fax server in 2016 to replace the majority of the county's analog fax lines. This moved us from traditional fax machines to the ability to send and receive faxes directly from our computers. We currently have 17 fax lines on the server, and moving those analog line fax numbers at that time to the county's phone system was a substantial cost savings on our monthly phone bill. We've had really good service out of this fax server for the past several years, very little downtime. But because it's end of life, we can no longer receive updates like the software. So the trouble we're running into now is that when we have someone who gets a new computer or they need their software updated, we are no longer able to install that fax software, which means the users can't send a fax. So it's starting to disrupt services. So we put together some options. The first one would be to replace the server with the same appliance, just the upgraded model. This is, the cost for that would be $10,364. That is the cost of the appliance. This is the numbers running through the county's phone systems. Fax users send and receive faxes from their PCs. There's no additional cost per line. So we worked this out as a 5-year cost because that would probably be the life of the appliance. So after 5 years, that would still be the $10,364. So we also looked into a fax cloud service. The cloud service would be monthly fees based on your number of lines. So the quote I received was for 17 lines. And with this one, the fax users also send and receive from their computer.
But with this one, with future fax lines, if we did need to add a line at a future date, that would increase our monthly cost. So with that one, there's initial cost of $2,900 to set up, plus the cost for your monthly fees. So the first year for that would be $7,998. The next 4 years would be $5,098. That's if we don't add any more lines. So the total for the 5 years on that one would be $28,390. And then I also threw in the costs of the analog fax lines. That's with a traditional fax machine. I don't think we want to go back to that, but just so you see what the cost was there. That's approximately $35 a month per line. So at 17 lines, you're talking about $600 a month and $7,200 a year. So at the end of 5 years, that's $36,000. So I'm here to request the physical server for $10,364 to replace the fax server that we currently have now that's in the life. I don't know if Tom has anything to add.
I'm just here for technical questions, how it all began, or any questions that you might have about how the process works.
And I am assuming, going to this totally electronic version of faxing, that it's only good for 5 years. There's nothing out there that you feel confident would, for an investment, last longer than that. And I know with electronics, life is getting shorter, it seems.
Our original fax appliance had served us well for about 8 years. We might get more or less, but one thing we need to consider is, as new updates, with desktops, things like that, really, the appliance is still working. The problem is they don't create new software for Windows 10, Windows 11. So now we're stuck in a Windows 7 environment, which we don't have any, there's no computers left like that. So we can't add software. So when we hire a new employee who gets a new Windows 10 or 11 computer, we're not able to add that on there. So the appliance, I think, is going to work for many years, but obviously the software vendors, they want to age that out to make more money. So, I mean, it's just part of it. But many years ago, we had a very traditional old-fashioned phone system. And I think that we have some legacy people here that remember that. But we were saving about $20,000 a month and moving to a PRI circuit with voice over IP phones. The analog system converted to a voice system. So we realized that benefit each month today, and that lower cost, even though it's been many years since we've had to pay that bill, we still benefit from this concept.
Yeah, to Jane's point, I guess I was going to ask, what do you know what the life is of the server, how long that would last? And then we have a maintenance contract if any components in the server were to go back.
Well, the warranty probably is 1 year, but I think our expectation for the commission should be, a 5 year.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how depreciated it'll take our, in a depreciation process, it's probably a 5 year depreciation. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to last longer than that. Our original one has lasted longer, which has been great. It's the same manufacturer, the same type of concept. So I think the users are used to this. They're used to scanning in documents, sending faxes, receiving faxes from their desktops. And we do have a lot of people that are using that product. We don't pay per line. So when we buy the appliance, we can add an employee or delete an employee without additional fees, which is nice.
Yeah. There's some departments that are still relying heavily on faxing, like the court systems, animal control, anything medical comes in by fax. So animal control, when there's a dog bite, they're getting their reports through faxes. So it's still being heavily used.
That's county government.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of the fax finder 4-channel fax server in the amount of $10,364.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, I have Lynn Fields. I move we meet as a fiduciary review board.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're a fiduciary.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here from the county clerk's office to present two probate matters for you today. The first would be permission to probate and solemn form the last will and testament of Raymond Virgil Utterback. I believe you should have a copy of the will and a copy of the petition. As in all cases with the probate and solemn form, the original last will and testament cannot be found. They've done a thorough search of it, cannot find it. They only have the copy. So we're just requesting your permission to accept the copy as original into probate in solemn form and execute letters of administration to the named executor, who is Annie Lorraine Utterback.
Okay, I'm just reading all
Sure.
this. So
Yep.
I'll go ahead and move a motion to approve the will to be probated in solemn form. And you need the last will testament of this. This is the last will testament of Raymond Virgil Utterback, deceased.
Correct. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Second item is, I've never had this before. Interesting, yes. So this is regarding the estate of Karen Earlback. Shelley Holmes is the executor on the estate, and she is attempting to settle accounts that Ms. Earlbach owns in Germany. And so the German government has requested certain declarations for her to sign and to be signed by the presiding probate court here in West Virginia. So before you should have a copy of the application, and then also a copy in German, which was translated over into English. And so they're requesting signatures on both documents. And Mr. Dorsey is the estate attorney, and he is present if you have questions.
Do you speak fluent German? Okay. All right.
And Ms. Holmes is also here to make an affidavit in front of the commission. And to address any questions, Ms. Fields accurately described the situation. Ms. Earlbach passed away in 2018. She was a naturalized U.S. citizen, immigrated from Germany. She still had accounts there, and we've been trying for 4 years to get this account closed. This is the negotiated application with our attorney in Germany, with the probate court in Hamburg, Germany, to get the doors open, to close the account, transfer it to him, so he can transfer it to Ms. Holmes as executors of the estate.
Wow. And sounds difficult. I'll be happy to move the motion to have our chairman sign the application for the German courts for the estate of
Karen
Earlbach. I know I've had trouble with the seconds. Earlbach, deceased. This is application is certificate of appointment as executive is limited to the German court estate, or the German estate, excuse me.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The copy has his last name. It's HUSDO.
They asked for these in duplicate.
I don't know if he can.
And so
It's actually be able to scratch it and initial.
Okay.
I've actually, I've got copies in duplicate for you to sign.
That's
I
fine.
have those too.
I-
Two of each. You want more?
Well, I was gonna get 3,
Okay.
2 to send them and
I'm handing out
one
signatures.
as an
Okay.
emergency. One is an emergency backup.
President Hudson only charges $100 a signature.
Okay.
So you're in luck.
This is, well, I checked this morning. The value of this account is about $200,000 with the exchange. And it's on an exchange rate, 201,396.77 as of about an hour ago. So $100, $100 for a signature, we would be thrilled.
Just so everybody's listening, I'm joking.
Yes.
And I know you know that, although who's watching online. so.
If you need them, I'll be happy to sign them.
Well, you know, I'll get you to sign maybe one more of each. And, that- That's the English version, and this is the German version.
We want you to read that before you sign it.
I believe he, Kleine Deutsch. Read a little German.
Yeah.
Well, it's stationed in Germany.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your help.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I move we come back into regular session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're back in regular session. Next I have is agenda item number 7, Mr. Russell Burgess.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Oh, sorry. I looked at 7 and then said your name. You're fine.
I'll just be secret agent 006 and a half. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. The first issue I would like to address is the E911 addressing ordinance. I'm not going to go over all of the changes. I hope that you've had a chance to review some of those. I think the initial paperwork you had wasn't very helpful, but did you see the additional paperwork that was sent out to you just to review those changes? The majority of them can just be cleaning up some of the ordinance. Some were recommended by Steve Grow of our legal department on here to make it more, I don't want to say user-friendly, but more in line with what it should be. And I'm not sure if you all have questions, if you wanted to go over things about this. I have to admit that I'm probably not the best person, but I will try my best to address. And if we need to, for some reason, have questions, I could bring Steve Crow in from our legal department or Jessica Gormont from our GIS department.
I don't have any particular questions. If this was ran by our legal, certainly I'll rely on their advice.
Well, I do have one, I'm sorry.
I know you go right ahead.
I do have one question. On section 3.4, and this hasn't even been changed, but except we've changed our process in other sections, that my understanding is correctly, that when somebody gets their building permit, they're also assigned their E911 address at that time.
I believe that is correct. I think that then when the building permit comes, then they start to do that. But there's definitely a specific process that it goes through before you are given that address, because I know there has been some contention in the past when people have requested addresses and it's not at the right time frame.
Well, anyway, if it's working the way I'm assuming it is, in section 3.4, they say that once you receive your address, you have to post it within 30 days.
Okay.
Well, that's hard to do on a new house that you're haven't even gotten the foundation for.
I think, and I may be wrong about this, but I think in some cases, literally, they'll put just a post or a stick in the
Right.
yard with the
And
number.
that's what I've seen, but I'm just like,
And I think that is so that if there was some kind of accident during construction, that the 911, the fire or ambulance crews
Yeah.
could locate them. And I think fortunately that going through the GIS department and everything, when we have these done, then we have monthly updates out to 911 with the mapping software and everything like that, so they would have the latest data.
Well, and I know in the beginning, we needed to have that paragraph in there to get everybody to put their numbers up, when we first enacted the ordinance. So I just didn't want somebody to get deemed because they don't have their numbers up. And they haven't even started construction. That's my only concern.
Right, I understand. I think in that case that the main thing is, we're looking at for the safety of the people on the site and things like that, so that if it happens and you're in a new construction area, you can locate where it is that it has happened.
You're right.
Yeah, from what I understand, because I'm going through it.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Okay, that you have to put the number up, so when the ambulance or fire truck comes up, they know it's that number has to be displayed, so.
Well,
and you
this
do-
actually said it has to be on the house, so,
Yeah, I talked to somebody and they said as long as it's, very visible and you can see
You
it,
just
so.
paint some plywood. Yeah.
And they
Okay.
do that when they're accepting deliveries too from.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in my experience, A4 lumber, they're usually laminated sheets somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right.
And, anybody else have any questions for us? Okay, I'll move to approve the revisions of the E911 addressing ordinance as noted in the attached document.
I'll second. Do we need to put an effective date or anything on it, or, I don't know.
Just immediately, yeah.
Effective immediately or
I
in
think
1
you would go
month?
ahead and say effective as of today's date.
Yeah, I'll add that as effective.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay, so the second one is for our, the JCESA, and these are for EMS mobile tech needs. With the transition of the ambulance service to a department within the county and the purchase of these ambulances from the different fire departments and things like that. I don't know a correct way to put this, but we need to re-outfit some of the ambulances. They do not have some of the equipment that is required or needed. If I could, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Tom Riley. He's the IT consultant for the county. He's been intricately involved in this. We have meetings out at the 911 center every Thursday to go over technical needs, and we bring in EMS or JCESA to come in and discuss their needs and things that have to be taken care of.
Part of the request for funds is to modernize the ambulance chase cars and put in there a list of things, patient reporting systems, CAD tablets, cradle points. They have Knox boxes, which are basically kind of like a PIC system you might see at a hospital, but the miniature version of that in the ambulances. So the narcotics are protected, they're electronically and digitally kept in vaults. So there's a list of things here. As we get these ambulances in, we're starting to review, do they have cradle points, which is basically a high-tech way of getting Wi-Fi within the ambulances and the service cars. Some ambulances have them, maybe 1 or 2 have them, the rest of them don't. We're getting in some of the CAD tablets, some are 8 or 9 years old, so we need to replace those. One of the new line items here is a GTAC patient reporting system. Basically, it's a tough tablet that the EMTs and our ambulance services would do patient reporting in the back of the vehicle. So we have really two tech needs. One is the front for the CAD. So as they're driving to the calls, they're looking at, how to get point-to-point directions. They're looking at the call. In the back, they're actually using the GTAC system, which is in this request, to do patient reporting. They can start to look up, what the call is, what they might need. As they take the patient from the area that they have service to the hospital, they're taking these tablets. Today, many of them don't have them, or they're using basically I would consider like a Surface Pro, as they're not a hardened machine, so they break a lot. They're replacing those, a lot. They lose, just dropping one of those, unlike the G-Tech, which is basically a hardened tablet. But they're taking that information from there to the hospital, continuing to complete the reports. As they complete the reports, they're taking the G-Tech back out to the ambulance. So there's really two tech pieces that are happening, the front and the back of that. Some ambulances are coming with some hardware that are, decent. Some are coming with nothing. Most of it need Havas, which is mounting brackets. So some have them, some don't. So this request is, fairly large, and but I think we need to do this now as we put these through the service stations. I know they have to get state inspections, they have to go through, get restriped, and all the details. So we'd like to run them through the shop to have the correct mounting brackets, have the correct CAT tablets, have the cradle point put in. It takes a lot for these ambulances to go back into service. And we've had some great responses on these products. We've looked at Martinsburg, how they're running their ambulances, the products that they're using. So, we've done some research on what is the best products to use. We just haven't had the funds to buy a G-Tech tablet at $3,000 a piece for, 13 or 14 people. And this is the time that we want to do that. As we put the ambulances in service in March, we can have the tech ready to go. We'll have them outfitted by our ambulance folks on the hardware. So that's really the request. I do have a updated amount. Don't throw anything at me. So we got our final quote in for the Knox boxes and the installation and the hardware for that. So if this isn't the proper meeting time for that, we can ask for the original amount and come back for more. But I think the new amount is going to be $209,001.99, and that's with the Knox boxes. And it also gives us a little room to work with our install team because they've not installed a Knox box before. So we'll have to have a little bit of money to work with. I'm recommending that we put the money in Russell's budget so that we can disperse that. This will become a county asset anyways, instead of going through JCSA, giving it to them. And I'm not sure how the assets should go, but I think maybe John would have some suggestions on that. But really the reason we're here with Mr. Burgess is to request it to be funded to him. We'll sign the contracts, execute the agreements, and we'll start to put the equipment in as soon as we can start to get that.
So those funds would come out of the ARPA money that we have dedicated for that. And one of the things I'd like to add is that every one of these ambulances, when they were purchased by those individual fire companies, were all spec'd out completely different. So this actually standardized the ambulances. So when staff get in them, they're looking at the same thing, operating the same thing throughout the fleet. I think that's really critical.
Same connectivity, same type of equipment. That carries on to other products too. So, down to the G-Tech, this is the same G-Tech for everybody. There's no learning curve on, one is a Surface Pro tablet, the other one's a laptop from HP. And so the difference in those are huge. It's a huge, and I know it's a big purchase, but I think it's the time to do this between now and March.
And what was that total again, 209?
209,001.99.
99 cents.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You can round off the 99 cents.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you couldn't just knock out $1.99.
It's easier to ask mom and dad for the right amount when they come back.
There you go. I think this is very important that we have all the ambulances uniform, as all the equipment operates the same. Director Berner would probably agree with that as he came in. I'm happy to move the motion to have our IT department. Let me see. I'm moving the motion to have the funding of $209,000, $209,001.99 to be used. We'll use the money. The money will be coming from our ARPA funds and put into our IT department so they can fund these ambulance equipment as requested.
I'll second, and just brief comment. I do think it's vitally important that everything is uniform. So you have an ambulance breakdown and you can put the backup right in that slot. And no matter what employee is at that station, they'll know how to use it.
If emergency situations, you're dealing with that. You don't want to be dealing with tech.
Right.
And we don't want to have the EMTs out of service. So we have the ability to trade equipment. So if the ambulance is in service and we lose the tech piece, they can come by maybe HQ or wherever we decide to put that piece of equipment. They can pick that up, turn in the damaged equipment, and get that fixed while they're still in service and not lose an ambulance in service.
Right. That's good.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And I'm done for the day. So there's no more.
Next I have is agenda item number 7, Mr. Roger Good.
I have 2 release requests related to tolling of bonding. I'll read the first one and then let's get part of it on the second one. The first one, there's a release of tolling of bonding agreement for Quail Ridge subdivision, section 2, phase 3, Jefferson County Planning Commission, file number 05-55. On June 5th, 2014, the County Commission entered into an agreement regarding bonding obligations and declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions, commonly referred to as a tolling of bonding agreement. The agreement allowed the developer of an approved residential subdivision project with a final plat that is on record in the county clerk's office, but in which no construction of the required land improvements had started and no lots had been sold, to put the project on hold due to poor economic conditions, thereby tolling or stopping the project from moving forward. The tolling and bonding process is included in the County Commission's site improvements bonding and bond surety policy. The agreement relieved the developer of being required to maintain a construction bond and begin construction of the subdivision improvements such as roads, stormwater management, water and sewer service, etc. And at the same time prevented the developer from being able to sell lots. The developer could bring the subdivision project out from under tolling and bonding by posting a new construction bond in an amount equal to 115% of the estimated cost of all required subdivision improvements, which is in accordance with the subdivision ordinance. In accordance with the agreement, the developer of Quail Ridge subdivision, section 2, phase 3, reposted the construction bond and moved forward with completing the residential subdivision, thereby having satisfied the conditions of the agreement. Therefore, the County Commission needs to release the developer from the requirements of the agreement, return the merger deed and the site stability bond held by the County Commission under the agreement, and record a release in the office of the county clerk in order to officially terminate the agreement so that it has no further force or effect. And I have a recommended motion.
I'll go ahead and move to approve the release of the agreement regarding the bonding obligations and declaration of covenants and restrictions recorded in deed book 1142, page 483, for the Quail Ridge subdivision, section 2, phase 3, Jefferson County Planning Commission, file number 5-255, as presented, and to record the release in the office of the county clerk.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
The next one's a release of tolling a bonding agreement for Thornhill subdivision, Jefferson County Planning Commission, file number 02-17. And this one, Thornhill LLC, the developer of Thornhill subdivision, wants to merge the subdivision back into the original tract of land that existed prior to becoming Thornhill subdivision, thereby vacating the subdivision on record in plat book 24, page 14.
This will be done by recording a merger deed in the office of the county clerk, which will make the agreement unnecessary. Therefore, the county commission, upon recordation of the merger deed by Thornhill LLC, needs to release the developer and owner from the requirements of all the agreements by recording a release in the office of the county clerk in order to officially terminate the agreement so that they have no further force or effect. Then return the original site stability bond held by the county commission on the agreement to the developer Thornhill LLC. And I have a recommended motion.
I'll move to approve the release agreement regarding the bonding obligations, declaration covenants, conditions, restrictions, recorded page, D-Book 1091, page 459, page 459, D-Book 1151, page 363, D-Book 1201, page 459, with Thornhill subdivision, Jefferson County Planning Commission file 2-17 as presented to the and record the release in the office of the county clerk.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next two are just related to construction bond releases. There's two of them. And the first one is complete release of the remaining, $2,691,620 from the construction bond amount for Sheets Incorporated, Sheet Store number 160. Planning Commission file number 20-10-SP. This project's located on the south side of Martinsburg Pike Route 45 near its intersection with Potomac Farms Drive. The work appears to be 100% complete. And we have a motion on the agenda request number 1.
I authorize the complete release of performance bond number 0190788845 with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Boston, Massachusetts, in the amount of $2,691,640. Construction amount for the Sheets Incorporated Sheet Store number 160 file 20-10-SP.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the last one is a partial release of $2,818,368 from construction bond for DR Horton Incorporated, Magnolia Springs Subdivision, Phase 1, Planning Commission file number 18-05-SD. This project's located on the end of Citizens Way, Route 115, 4. The work remaining includes, but is not limited to, the following: site grading, paving, stormwater management, final stabilization, and conveyance of rights of way and common areas to the HOA.
I authorize a partial performance bond number LIXX 1195988 Lexon Insurance Company, Mount Juliet, Tennessee, in the amount of $2,818,368. Construction bond amount for DR Horton Incorporated, Magnolia Springs, Phase 1, file 18-05-SD.
I'll second. And just for clarification, this is a partial release of the performance bond
Correct.
for this one as opposed to the Sheets one. Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. These letters ready to sign. Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Next, I have agenda item number 8, Mr. Bob Brenner.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good
Morning.
I promise I'm going to be much shorter this month than I was last month. But I do have to acknowledge the staff sense of humor here. I see they have me on the agenda for a little over 12 hours. So,
Yeah.
good one.
Repeat that now.
I think I've definitely surpassed Nathan at this point. So let's start with our update, getting all these ambulances through their mechanical readiness inspections and striping. The mechanicals are done on 5 of the ambulances. The 6th is at the vendor now. We had hoped to have more through by this point, but there have been some staffing shortages at the mechanical vendors. And I guess you just can't make emergency vehicle diesel mechanics appear.
Right.
You either have them or you don't. So that's been slowed down a bit. One of the ambulances at the striping vendor, we kind of encountered a problem with a previous body repair where, I don't know, I guess we had stickers on and then there was an accident. So then we just clear coated over the stickers and everything. So now when we try and change, it's a mess. We found lots of interesting things that you couldn't imagine come up throughout this transition. We're still doing our weekly meetings with the IT brain trust, Tom and Russ and Jeff. Programming of the radios, we're supposed to have that done by today. I'm not sure what, I think there's a little bit of a delay there. Got to work with Jeff and figure that out and get that done. We still have plenty of time, so we're all right on that part. Jeff does tell us that the way CAD works, and I can't do this any justice, but the changes that we need to make and how the units are going to be dispatched, because we will no longer need to dispatch an ambulance and an ESA paramedic. We'll be dispatching them as one unit. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but there's some nuance to that and some things that need to change. And that's not going to be able to flip a switch and do that all at once. But I'm hoping we're going to be able to make that invisible as far as how the service is delivered. I think it's going to be, there's things he has to change in the test environment, make sure it works. And then they kind of have to redo those changes in the live environment, kind of over again. So they want to do those sort of one hunk at a time, one step at a time. And I understand that. So again, I don't think that's going to have an effect on what is visible to anybody in the world except for us. And we'll figure out how to make that work. Our billing authority, all that information's been submitted, Medicare and Medicaid. I just checked with them day before yesterday. They're processing everything and we're kind of at their mercy to get those things done. So, but ball is in their court. We've done our part. I talked to you last month about maintenance and service contracts for the very expensive equipment like the monitors and the stretchers and the machines that do CPR and everything. And I explained how those are non-transferable. So when we purchase all this equipment, there's no maintenance service contract, preventative, there's none of that on it. It's just on us. And it's pretty expensive. To replace a battery in one of these things is usually $500 to $1,500. Anything the FDA is involved in doesn't go cheap. Medical equipment and whatnot. So we're continuing to try and find ways to do that. I think I told you that the one option that had been proposed that would be where the vendor would basically cover everything and ensure we always had the latest of everything was going to be about $450,000 a year, which is very
Which would go
salty.
up every year. Too.
Yeah, well, that would lock in for 10 years. So that basically it'd be their problem I like the fact that it's their problem for 10 years, but the price is salty. And so we're looking for cheaper ways to do that. We did just get an estimate on just a maintenance contract alone. And that just came in yesterday. So we're still weeding through, to make sure the I's are dotted and T's across there. And then, John, I just found out that that rep is going to be here next Thursday. So.
Well, please get that on my outlook.
I was gonna say, if you'd like to come, I'd like to have you come here, like what these options are as well. Because it's a decision of insurance or not, is basically what it boils down to. Do you want to be on the hook for the repairs and the upgrades, or do you want to kind of buy insurance, basically. That's what the decision comes to. We're still not making very good progress on hiring these 12 new positions. I think we have 3 applicants at this point. We're working on it. There's not, and I never want to say there's not much we can do, but it's tough. There's nationwide paramedic shortage. And I mean that sincerely. I could tell you stories of the things that are going on that agencies and jurisdictions are trying to do to get paramedics. One thing that we do have in the works on that, which doesn't help us immediately, but gives us light at the end of the tunnel, is I believe I spoke with you last month about the program to take our current EMT staff and get them through a program to become paramedics. And we're on to something that looks very, very promising. It's going to be, if it works as intended, the way it looks on paper, it'll be much less expensive. It's going to be much shorter time window. It's going to be doable for our people. And it'll get us there in 10 months instead of 2 years as far as producing paramedics. And this will likely be how we need to move forward for eternity, is instead of looking for someone, narrowing our pool of candidates to who has a paramedic card and then, working only with that, we may be able to be at a point where we can open up to finding people based on their work ethic, their attitude, their competence, those kinds of things, and then make them a paramedic. And that to me just makes a lot of sense. And I think whether we want to or not, that's kind of where we're going to end up having to be, because they just aren't paramedics. And the ones that are, unfortunately, I'm told that our job advertisement for the paramedic position at $20.29 an hour lands right between 2 others, one for like $24 an hour and one for $27 an hour. So that, I wish they need to put them on a different page or something. I don't know. The space use agreements or space leases that we talked about last month, I sent out offers based on the guidance I received here to the 4 companies. All 4 have acknowledged that they've received them. Some of them have to go back to their boards and whatnot, but they're all, they have it, and we're waiting to hear back. I asked them to respond by December 14th so that we can, know which direction we're going and pursue your follow through on your guidance of where to go next with that. Okay, not even 10 minutes yet. Great. I do need some money today, and I'm here to ask you for 2 things. And I submitted I think it was 80 some pages of detail in the agenda packet. So if anybody's missing anything, let me know. It's probably more than you ever wanted to know about anything. The first item I have for you today is for the purchase of a supply and asset management system. As you've heard me talk about these EMS supplies before, they're almost all prescription supplies. Some include drugs and narcotics, Schedule 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to be maintaining those across 5 different stations, and the 4 stations where we have staff, and then the central supply at our current building, and 10 different ambulances. And trying to keep track of those things is always an adventure. And the DEA is kind of finicky about knowing where things are and where they've been. So we want to make sure we're compliant with that. It's always been a challenge. Fortunately, now the technology exists that can take away a lot of the human factor and cut out a lot of time in like physically manually counting Band-Aids and such. And so that technology, we put out an RFP. We received 3 responses, 3 proposals in response to that. One of them, we'll start from somewhere. One of them came back and they were missing, they really didn't meet the request. They didn't give us a total project cost. They didn't send back the declaration or the other paperwork that they were supposed to. Upon asking further questions, it seems like the total project cost, they first estimated would be $57,000, but looking at what they're explaining to us, we believe it's actually more like $70,000. Another vendor that did submit a complete packet, their proposed cost is $350,000. And then the one that I'm seeking Approval for today is a vendor that submitted a complete proposal with a price of $35,801, including all the hardware, software, and training. We didn't spend much time on the $350,000 one, I'll be honest.
Is the one that you chose, is that going to be adequate, you think? I mean, it seemed like there's very big spreads.
It is. The only thing that I can see, this one and the $350,000 one, the only thing that I notice about them that really stands out is that the one that's $350,000 lists a lot of their clients as federal government entities and refers frequently to the GSA schedule. And so I don't know if just, maybe things are more expensive for the federal government. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
300,000 for a hand.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in using taxpayers' money that way. Like, what I'm asking for you for is the cheapest option, which I believe absolutely will satisfy our needs and make life better and ensure our compliance.
And this will be pulled out of the ARPA funds.
Yes.
That's what we have said. Okay. I would like to go ahead and move a motion to approve the EMS supply and asset management, to purchase the EMS supply and asset management system for the amount of $35,801. The funds will be used from our ARPA funds account that's under ESA.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And just to be clear, I mean, it's your all's decision where the money comes from, but my understanding is that would come from the money that you've set aside for the EMS project, not in addition to money you've set aside for the EMS project. Okay. The other request I have is for the reimbursement of labor through October 31st, the amount of $12,745.09. And I submitted the detail of that. I don't know if it made it in the packet because I did the thing where, you send the see attached and then don't attach the attachment, and I resent it later. It's entirely my fault if it wasn't in there. What this is this is for labor that's been performed by JCSA staff working on, specifically on hours spent specifically on the tasks related to the EMS transition. These are hours that would, where they were not already on shift. So our folks work a 24 or a 12-hour shift, and the team we've had working on the EMS transition, some of them are field staff, and they try to get as much done as they can while they're out, in their stations between calls and whatnot. But there are some things you absolutely cannot do between calls. If you're assigned to a station today, you can't go to Hagerstown and meet with a vendor or whatnot. So I'm not asking for reimbursement for the things that they were already on the schedule for. What I'm asking you for is these are hours that were not we were not budgeted for this year because we had, no way to know we'd be doing this kind of work. So they're above and beyond. Now, there also is a distinction between overtime and regular hours. And I'll just briefly say that in the normal world, because fire and EMS, we're a zebra in a land of horses. So in a normal world, you say, well, I have this person, they're full-time, they work 40 hours a week, anything over that's overtime. So if it's not overtime, it wasn't extra work. But in our case, it is because we have a 72-hour pay period and a 96-hour pay period that alternate. So if someone is in a 2-week pay period where they are only scheduled for 72 hours and they come in and they work on this project for 8 hours, you'll then have 8 hours of regular time. It's a regular rate, but it was 8 hours that was not budgeted, it was not scheduled. So it's extra even though it's not really overtime. So you get a little, it's a little cheaper for you, but I know that gets a little bit confusing. And then the last part there that I just want to clarify, and I did put all this detail I think was in my agenda request, but there was some discussion at one point about hiring a contractor to manage the transition, and that we would save the $25,000 or $26,000, I believe it was, by the ESA doing this project and not hiring a contractor. And we need to be clear that what the contractor proposed was this list over here, and you were going to pay $26,000 for that. So the vast majority of time-consuming projects that me and my staff are working on are these pieces, components that the contract was not within the contractor's scope of work to do. The contract was expecting you to deliver ready-to-go ambulances, all the supplies managed, all the oxygen contracts dealt with, all that, so that was gonna get put on us anyway, and which is fine. I mean, it should be us, but those things were, it's not like, well, okay, we saved it, but now we're spending it over here. We're gonna spend this over here, so you're still saving the 26,000, because most of that work in that category is happening by my senior staff that are on, that I'm not asking for reimbursement for, because they're just changing priorities. They're using that 40 hours a week in the office, more of it's going to this project. Does that make any sense? Did that make sense, John? Did I do better this time?
I'm perfectly fine with that. And that would come out of ARPA as well.
And that would come out, that's going to be my question.
Yep.
Okay, now that makes perfect sense, and
I'll be getting a lot of bills from you and IT this week,
yeah,
between software, personnel.
and I do agree with you. You had no idea we were going to make this transition when last February.
No.
It wasn't about, so I'll be happy to move motion for reimbursement of $12,745.09 for the labor costs of the EMS transition project through October 31st, 2022. These funds will be taken out of our emergency services line item, out of the ARPA fund.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It's a delay.
Yeah.
Claire always gets me when I hear the aberrant eye come from the ceiling. Does anyone have any questions for me about the transition thus far?
You're doing an amazing amount of work. I really appreciate it.
It's not me, it's the team.
Well,
They make it happen.
You're right. Yeah.
I just come here and get to talk to you nice people. Commissioner Hudson, this will probably be our last meeting together, so thank you, sir, for your service, not only to our country, but here to the county.
Thank you.
And I was also wondering if we could ask our staff to give us, for our next meeting, what our balance is in the ARPA funding for this EMS transition.
We can go ahead and jump to agenda item number 10, acknowledgement of completion of accessory additional duties. I kind of know what this is, but I don't know if anyone wants to.
This is basically required by state code.
Right.
I forget who says it, but she met all the qualifications for jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but some of it's with the ag census and all that stuff, or not, but I know there's additional things.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a letter in the packet.
Right.
All right.
I'll move that the commission acknowledge the substantial completion of the assessor's additional duties as outlined in West Virginia Code 7-7-6A, and to approve the additional compensation of $15,000 as provided in West Virginia Code 7-7-6B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yes.
Next I have is agenda item number 11, approval of notice for 2023 Board of Review and Equalization.
Please. That would be through the assessor.
It's
The assessor's office, yeah.
Yeah.
some of it's in code. It says like how, what
Right.
day you have to
You
start.
gotta start by a certain date and you can't be, you have to have meetings every so often. One a month.
We can circle back. That's fine.
Is it something Angie's going to present, like, right?
Right, yeah. When we-
So Ryder, could you
She's
maybe,
on,
is she online?
she's online, but she's self-muted.
Oh, okay.
Angie, if you can hear us, can you unmute?
In her defense, we are over like 40 minutes early.
Yes, that's true.
We can move on.
We're really,
Yeah.
really a day ahead with.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, did you want Nathan to go or did you want to go to?
I can do the audit firm under county administrative reports if you want that to be real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so per state code, we are required by the state auditor's office to seek written proposals to perform our annual examination in accordance with the standards, requirements, terms, conditions specified by the West Virginia State Auditor's Office, Chief Inspector's Division, procedures manual for procuring and conducting audits and reviews of local government. This basically, we had to float an RFP to pick an auditor for this year. So we did, we sent out a request for proposal on October 27th. We advertised for that with a deadline of November 10th for submittals. We received 2 bids by the deadline. The first one was from BHM CPA Group Incorporated, and the other one was from Perry and Associates. Both are very, very good firms. I reviewed both. They mirror one another's deliverables almost to the T. The BHM CPA Group their bid came in at $29,000. Perry and Associates bid came in for $33,000. It's my recommendation to the board that we choose BHM CPA Group. So that would be my proposal, that we accept BHM CPA Group Inc. to do our audit with $29,000.
I'll move to approve, we hired BHM, BHM Inc.,
BHM CPA Group.
CPA Inc. Group, for the amount of, for our audit, for FY, this is FY 22.
Yes.
Okay, an amount of 29,000.
Second.
Did the usuals, like the Historic Landmarks Commission, are they piggybacking on that?
Yeah, they
Okay,
are.
I was
I just got an email from them yesterday that we will piggyback them on this, because apparently that was the thing we've done
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah, there's a few component
Yeah, there's
units
a few
that are very
Mhm.
small, yeah. Farmland has their own audit.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries.
Angie?
Yes.
Here.
All right, Angie, we were on the Board of Review and Equalization, and I was wondering if you had any more information on like the dates available to us.
You can meet, the most you can meet is like 30 days, but you can't go beyond February 28th. Normally, we try to sine die by February 16th if possible. My office is flexible. I know that we usually go with like Tuesdays and Thursdays because you have to meet every so often. You can't let it go. I do believe it's beyond 3 days while you're still in session before you sine die. I'm getting more information because I'm going to a meeting next week and meet with a judge over the Office of Tax Appeals because there will not be any more October Board of Appeals. And I'm going to go to see what that entails because we may need to put that notification with the Board of Review. So I'll have more information at your next meeting.
So do you want us to table it or do you want us to approve the notice as it is?
I haven't seen the notice. Nobody has sent me the notice to go over it.
Right.
Okay, so we'll just table it to hear back from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next I have is agenda item number 9, Mr. Nathan Cochran. Unless you wanted to do first, well, we'll probably go into executive.
I think you're going to executive. I will be going, asking you to go to executive session as well, so we probably just do both at the same time.
Yeah, it's okay.
I have a matter of legal advice regarding my item number A related to the solar lawsuits. And I would like to give you some legal advice on that, so I recommend that we go into executive session on that particular issue.
And you have,
As well as the
Personnel.
personnel.
I'll move that we can go into executive session under agenda item number 11A to receive legal advice from our attorney, and also go to, also for matters of receiving personnel information action by our county administrator on this one.
That would be item 9.
And then
for
item,
executive
yes,
session.
item.
9A.
You said
9A.
11.
Oh, okay, sorry. The 9A, sorry.
No problem.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in executive session.
I would like to request to be allowed to stay.
Are we back on? I move we come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, is there anything else come before the commission today?
That's, offer special session for $8 million.
I can say that we're going to call a special session for Monday regarding the financial director. Is there anything else come before the commission this morning? Hearing none, if there's no objection, we're adjourned. Thank you.
What time on Monday?
9:30.
9:30?
Sorry. Virtual.
Oh,